So what is new in S4HANA systems? So we'll see that. So till now we have seen the installation, theories and all that, everything. Now we'll see that what is the new in S4HANA in terms of the component, and what is the native waiver version for the S4HANA systems till now. So if you see the ECC systems, ERP, which is based on the native waiver, okay, 7.0 to 7.5. Okay, so till EHP 6, you will be having the 7.03. Okay, 7.03. Okay, and then ERP, EHP 7 will be 7.4, EHP 8 7.50, native ware platform. S4HANA is also same 7.5 platform, 1511. Then 1610 is also same, native ware platform, but yeah, 7.50 as a native ware platform. But ABAP component is 7.51. So till here, you will see that ABAP is 7.50 and S4HANA ABAP version is 7.51. Okay, and the major changes, if you see that from here, if you see the major changes here, we have the ABAP platform. Here we have the ABAP platform. So this is till here 7.50 is there. Here 7.50 is there. Native ware 7.50. But after 1610, you will see that native ware 7.51. And then 1709, 7.52. Then 1809, everything is changed. So here we don't have the native ware 7.5. Native ware, the platform in the after the 1809. So we have the ABAP platform. Okay, so this is the ABAP platform foundation for the S4HANA. Okay, and here in 1909, it is ABAP platform foundation 1909. So similar like ABAP foundation 2020 for your S4HANA. Okay, so this is the foundation version of the native ware foundation version we call. So this is ABAP platform 1809, 1909, 2020. We called as a ABAP native ware foundation. Okay, here we call a native ware foundation, and here we call a native ware platform. Okay, till here we call a native ware platform. Okay, but after that we call a ABAP foundation. Okay, and the kernel is also changed 7.77, then 7.81. Okay, and here if you see that kernel is 7.53 till 1709. Okay, so this is the major difference in terms of the component, in terms of the native ware families. So here is written. So whatever I explained here, it is written that 7.50, 1511 is the 7.50, and then 7.51 is the 1610, then 1709 is the 7.52. Okay. So after that 1809, we got a ABAP platform as a ABAP foundations, native ware foundation we call it. We cannot say that S4HANA is the based on SAP NetWeaver. Okay, so S4HANA is not SAP NetWeaver. Okay, so it is basically it is only based on the one of the component, that is the SAP NetWeaver application servers ABAP. So we have the ABAP component here, ABAP 7.5, 7.52. Okay, so it is not the SAP NetWeaver platform. Okay, but it has the SAP NetWeaver application ABAP component. And it did not contain the Java stacks. So your S4HANA systems doesn't have the Java stacks. So here all the ABAP foundations and ABAP 7.51, 7.52, it doesn't have the Java stack. Okay. If you see here, here you will see that ABAP in Java. Okay. But here if you see that you don't see the Java version after the 7.51. Okay. So here this is the 1511, then this is 1610. Okay, and here 1709, and then here we have the 1809, here we have 1909, and then after that we have 2020. So here if you see here, so what we get, okay, if you install the ECC systems, EHP 7 or 8, you will get 7.40 and 7.5 in EHP 8, and then ABAP, SAP ABAP is 7.50. If you install S4HANA 1.5.11, in that you will get NetWeaver AS ABAP 750 and ABAP 7.5A, and here 7.51, 7.5B, and then here you will get C, okay, in 1709. And then here if you see that, here it is ABAP platform, okay, it is the ABAP platform, and here we have the SAP ABAP as 7.5D, 7.5E, okay, so this we call as a foundation, okay, so this is the S4HANA foundation. It doesn't have till from here, it doesn't have the Java stacks. So if you see in our systems, once you install the systems 2020, you will get ABAP platform, okay, and then SAP S4HANA foundations. But just for the information, so nothing much here. You should know that what is change in S4HANA systems. Any questions here?
Sir, I have one question. Like, as you know that the naming convention of S4 HANA system is like, so first two digit is like release year and next two digit is like month, like release
Month.
month. So, but
Yeah.
why it is different for S4 HANA 2020?
No, not sure why it is different. 2020. So, no, I'm not sure. So it is released in 2020. So that's the reason here 2020 is that's the reason they have given the name as a 2020.
Okay.
So I think this will continue. I don't know whether they will release 2021 or not. So maybe that they will release like 2021 and 2022 like this. So so
Yes, I
so
think we
here,
already have one course like S4 HANA 2022 conversion like that.
hmm,
There is one certificate.
yeah. So why they have changed? I'll tell you that. So if you see that 2018 in the month of September they released 1809. Then 2019 in September month they released the 1909. Then they after into 2020 they release 2020 as for HANA. Okay, now they will follow 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023 like this. So only the last digit will change. So now they will follow like this, and the month will not be there. Year only there. Okay, this is my just guess. So I don't know what SAP will follow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this is the new in terms of the component. Okay, in S4 HANA from the ABAP side. What is the new? So we have the new ABAP programming language in S4 HANA systems. Okay, so we have the CDS view. Okay, then a lot of things are there ABAP side. So if you see that classical ABAP programmings, okay, so there we don't have much. Okay, but in ABAP platform greater than 750, we have ABAP programming for the SAP Furies. Then OData services is also introduced. Okay, this is in S4HANA. So development for the SAP Fury ABAP programming for the SAP Fury we call UI5. That is the introduced new technology introduced in the ABAP. And then also the OData services is also introduced. The core data services, that is the CDS view. Okay, so these all are the new the ABAP languages which is introduced in the S4HANA systems. So yeah, this classical one is replaced with this one. So not the replace, both are there. Classical ABAP programming is also there, but we have also the new the ABAP programming languages. So SAP recommend that you use new ABAP programming languages in S4HANA systems. So don't go with the classical ABAP programming language in S4HANA systems. If you see the cloud based S4HANA systems, there also we have the same thing, but here we have the business services apart from the OData services. Rest are same. Okay, so this is the news new in the S4HANA in terms of the ABAP languages. What is new for the bases in S4HANA systems? So operating system supports on the ABAP platform for S4HANA is only Windows, Linux, AIX. This all is supported. If you see here up to 7.52. Okay, so up to SAP NetWeaver 7.52, you can install SAP S4HANA application, not the database, on Windows, Linux, AIX, and others. But from SAP ABAP platform 1809, you can install SAP application, S4HANA application on Windows or Linux or AIX or Linux on Power Little Endian. This is the IBM OS. Okay, it is also based on the Linux. You cannot install the SAP application on HP Unix, Solaris. Okay, but you can install your database only on Linux platform and then Linux on Power Little Endian. Okay, but application can only be installed on these 4 operating systems only. 2 minutes. Yes, sir. Okay, yeah. So only 4 operating systems are supported for the S4HANA application after 1809. Okay. So in terms, if you see simply Windows, Linux, and AX. Okay, so this is also a Linux platform, but kernel will be a different for this one. Then the sum of the SAP profiles parameters are absolute in S4HANA systems. So for SAP ABAP platform 1809, the kernels we have 7.7. Okay, it is different. It's break the downward compatibility with old kernels and SAP NetWeaver versions. So in 7.7, we have many changes in terms of profiles parameters. So there are 2 main areas that has been cleaned or optimized. That is the ABAP VMC and the ICM and the web dispatchers. Okay, so VMC is nothing but a virtual machine container. Okay, so it is the component of the SAP AS ABAP. Okay, and so basically this is not available in the kernels of 7.7 kernels. This ABAP VMC is not available. It is absolute. Okay, so this is absolute in the SAP kernel 7.73. Okay, so this VMC is absolute in 7.73. Kernel 7.73 and the followings are not compatible with earlier version of the SAP kernels. Do not use kernel version greater than equal to with a system that required VMC functionality. Okay, so if you use the VMC functionality, then don't upgrade your kernels to 7.73. So basically, so I don't know what is this VMC, virtual machine containers. I don't know exactly where it is used and how it is used. But as per the SAP S/4HANA, it is mentioned that VMC is absolute if your kernel is 7.73 equal to or greater than. Okay, so for example, if you are upgrading your ECC systems to S/4HANA and this VMC is there, then it will not work with the S/4HANA 2020. So if you see, the virtual machine container was component integrated into the SAP Web AS ABAP that enable Java functions that compile with the Java standards, okay, to be executed in AS ABAP. So basically, it is related to development. So ABAPer or Java consultant can give the information about this VMC. Yeah. There are also some important changes in the ICM and the web dispatcher parameters. So if you need more details, then you can go on this SAP note. So you will see that some of the profile parameters is removed in S/4HANA version. Okay, so this is the SAP note 2593926. Okay, so new maintenance model is introduced, okay, in the S/4HANA systems. For example, you have the maintenance activity for your S/4HANA systems. Then what you do, you take a approval and then you log all the users. But in S/4HANA 2020, you can, if there is any maintenance activity, then you can set the system into the maintenance. Okay, so transaction, using the transaction as maintain, you can set the maintenance mode. So only the administrator can log in 000 clients, and if any other users is trying to log into the productive clients, they will get message that system is under maintenance. So you can set it through the maintenance T code. So if you see that once you set the maintenance mode, you provided a date and timing, storm date, to date, storm timing, and then end timing, start time and the end time. Okay, after you set it, when user is trying to log in your client, then the user will get system is generally not available at this time. Maintenance mode is enabled. The user will not able to log in if the maintenance mode is set. So this is the safer one. Okay, so without locking the users, we can go ahead with our maintenance activity. Okay, so this is the new feature in S/4HANA 2020. New client copy tools is introduced in the S/4HANA systems. The old client copy will not work in the S/4HANA systems. This new client copy tool is much faster than traditional client copy. So it is up to 10 times faster than traditional client copy. You don't need to use SAP Star. You can perform the client copy, local client copy from any of the systems, any of the clients. You can log in any other clients, and then you can just select source clients and the target clients and the profiles, and then you can start the client copy. So no need to set the profile parameters to enable the SAP stars. That is not required. So if you see that old client copy, SCCL, SCC 9, so we have the replacement SSC L, and at the end you will see that N, that is the new name. Okay, and then SCC 3, it is enhanced. You will see the lot of information in S4HANA ACC, SCC 3 client T codes. Okay, so and other is the client comparisons. So there is the T codes, but here we have the reports. This is the transaction, or we can say the reports. Okay, so even also you can do the client copy using the task list. So task list is also there. So we have the task list for the Fury, right? The Fury configuration and the setups. So here we have the task list, similar kind of task list for performing the client copy. So this is the task list. So you can also do a local client copy using the task list SAP underscore client copy underscore local. So you can determine the size of the clients by running these T codes. In the traditional, we run the reports and we see the, the records. But here the SAP is provided the T codes which you can run, and then you can find out the size of your client. The memory quota and the SOP dump for memory consumption is also introduced. Okay, so most of the time we see that TS v underscore new page underscore allocate underscore fail this dump in our system most of the time. So basically this is whenever we receive this is, then it is related to the your if your extended memory or heap memory is full, then you will get this dump. Also, if the internal tables is got full, then you will get this dump. Your the code is not optimized and it is utilizing all the memories, then you will get this dump. So in S4HANA systems, you will you can define the notification. Okay, so whenever your extended memory or heap memory is reaching to the 80%, then immediately you will be notified using the dumps. Okay, or some other way. Some other way means you know uh, by setting the emails and all that alerts mechanisms, you can also get to know that your size of the extended memory or heap memory. So you can define the quota for individual, the exclusive individual users. Okay. So yeah, so if you see here, so here you can these types of dumps you will get is related to the quota. So you can define the session memory quota warnings. Okay, if you define this one, then you will get the warnings in the systems that your quota is reaching. Okay, and yeah, and then you can take a necessary actions. A developer or responsible persons can check their programs, reports, okay, dumps, and then these types of issue we can avoid. So here is the some parameters which you can configure. Okay, so you can define the quota. Okay, so amount of memory quota, extension for the dialogues, so amount of memory quota, extension for the non-dialogues, like this. Here you can define the percentage. Okay, you can also uh, exclude the users from this quota. So using these T codes, you can exclude the users. So what is that T code basically? The default memory quota is applied to all the users. By default, nobody can consume more memory. Okay, if you define the quota, then by default that quota is set for all the users. However, with the quota extension, you can grant specific users or different quotas, allowing them to consume the more or less memory. Okay, so you can exclude the some of the users. Okay, so that the users, the quota will not be applicable for the exemption exempted users. Okay, so this is also the new T codes is introduced in the S4HANA system. ABAP push channel is also the new one. ABAP push channel and the web sockets. So here, if you want to connect to some other systems which is not part of your network, which is part of some other network. Okay, so one more RFC type is introduced by the SAP, which is the RFC connection to the other ABAP systems using the web socket. So you don't need to set up the firewalls. You don't need to set up the routers. You don't need to set up the VPN connections between two different ABAP systems which are placed on different network. Okay, so you don't need to set up anything. So you just go and then and create use this RFC type W. Okay, and then you can define the RFC connections. So another significant improvement belong to the ABAP connectivity area, and it is internet enabled. So it is internet based RFCs. Okay, so this is the data is transferred using the SSL. Okay, and the VPN tunnel is not longer required for the RFC connections across business network. Okay, so this is also new things introduced in the S4HANA system. User management. So this is something related to the security, where we have the technical users and then business user concept. So technical user, what up to till now in the ECC systems, when we create a system users like RFC users, then batch users. Okay, so that those users will be a system users or communication users. Okay, but in S4HANA, those users we call as a technical user. So we create those users as a technical user. And the business users are the users who are the end user users. So in the SU01 T code, if you go, then you will see that which types of user you want to create, technical user or business user. You have to select it. So technical user do not have the business partner associated and don't have the address tab in the SU01, but business users, the user's ID is linked with the corresponding business partners, and some details cannot be changed in via SU01. So business partner is assigned to the business users, but business partner is not assigned to the technical users, and the technical user has doesn't have the address tab. Okay, so this is more or less related to the security. Okay, so this this user this is the also the new things in the user management is introduced by the SAP in S4HANA 1909, starting from the S4HANA 1909. Okay. So if you see here, you will get here technical users, and then this is the business user. If you go in SU01, you will see the technical user and then business users. Okay, so if you see that difference, this is the technical users, this is the business users. So you don't have the address tab here. Job scheduling. So in S4HANA systems, we do not have the we don't use the SM36 as a standard jobs. So all the standard jobs is scheduled automatically. Only thing is that you have to resume the background jobs using the BTC trans 2 T codes. So SAP S/4HANA contain a new component which automatically schedule certain technical background jobs. Deleting or modifying such jobs manually via transaction SM37 will not have lasting effects since the automation mechanism will reschedule these jobs with predefined attributes. So if you're trying to change this technical background jobs, okay, like start time, then variants using a SM37 or SM36, then those will be overwritten. Okay. So how you will change this? So job definitions can be customized or deactivated using the transaction as job repo. Okay, so as job repo, job repository T code is there. With the help of this, you can change the background technical background jobs job definition. You can change, modify the start time. Okay, and then you can modify the steps. You can modify the users. Okay, who will be executing this in the background. Scheduling and monitoring standard jobs. Example, SAP underscore reorg, tool, SAP underscore reorg, underscore ABAP dumps, etc. was a manual action in the SAP ERP systems. Choosing standard jobs in transaction SM36 display a tab of the standard jobs template which the customer could choose to schedule. So in the traditional system, ERP ECC, we go in SM36 T code, and there we have the standard jobs tab. We click and then we schedule. But in S/4HANA system, this manual action has been replaced by automatic mechanisms. Technical job repositories replaced by the technical job repositories. That is the S job repo. SAP HANA technical job repository takes care of scheduling and descheduling, okay, of the standard jobs automatically without any user intervention. So all these standard technical jobs is scheduled automatically in S/4HANA systems. If you want to stop those jobs, then you have to go to the SAP S job repo, and from there you can deschedule the jobs. Any questions here?
Like I can connect to a different company's ABAP system also if I want.
Come again?
Like if I want to suppose I have working for a project client like Philip Morris, and if I want to connect a ABAP system from Etihad project, so will it be possible from this internet enabled RFC connection?
Yeah, possible if both are the S/4HANA system.
Okay, thank you.
I have not tried. Yeah, but it is mentioned here. You don't need anything. VPN tunnel is no longer required. Okay, but I think some port needs to be open in the firewall.
Okay.
I guess. Finally, compatible modern cloud internet architecture use the standard HTTP infrastructure, reverse proxy HTTP, blah, blah, no more SAP routers. A VPN tunnels is no longer needed for the RFC connection across the business. So here it is mentioned that you don't need anything. Okay, but it doesn't mention anything that about the firewall. I think the
Okay.
firewall rule is needed. Okay, if you want to connect.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so two imported jobs definitions. So two imported job definition which should be reviewed by the customers after upgrading to S4HANA or conversion to the S4HANA. So if you are converting from ECC to S4HANA or you are upgrading S4HANA systems from older to the newer, then these two jobs you have to check, because sometimes what happens, we change the job definition manually to reorg the for reorganization of the jobs and also reorganization of the school. Okay, but if you have modified anything for these jobs, timing, then variants, okay, whatever it is, then those will be overwritten in S4HANA systems. Okay, after the conversion or upgrade. Okay, so what is the new variant in S4HANA? So here the job definition schedule the reports. Okay, so with this reports RS BT CD EL2, you can schedule this in the daily in 000 clients with the variants SAP underscore SAP ampersand 001. With this variant you can select. But what comes in this variants? These reports and the variants perform deletion of the background jobs which is older than 14 days. Okay, so in S4HANA system, the variant is set as a 14 days for deletion of the background jobs. But if you modify this in your ECC system before conversion of the migration, like 30 days, then that variant will be overwritten by with the S4HANA new variant. If you want, you can change the variant, okay, and then you can schedule it in table 0 clients using the transaction as job repo. So in the job repo, you will see that job definitions as one tab. You have to select your job, and then you just click on the job definitions, and then you modify whatever modification you want to do. Similar is the spool deletions. So RSPO 0041 is a reports which we schedule in the 000, which delete all the spool numbers and the spool request as well. Okay, so if you have customized anything, then you have to recheck the variants for these jobs, and then you can modify as per your requirement. Okay, so whatever the job definition customer create, you can create only with SAP job repo. If you create with SE38, this will not work. Okay, so SE80 is used by the ABAP. If you need more information about the S4HANA technical job repositories, that is the standard jobs, then you can read 219.0.119 SAP note. You'll get more details about the standard jobs of S4HANA 2020 or 1909, whatever it is. So before upgrade or migration to the S4HANA systems, you have to apply this SAP note 2499529. If you are migrating your ECC to S4HANA systems or upgrading your older S4HANA to the newer S4HANA systems, then before migration and upgrade, you have to implement the 2499529 SAP note. That is mandatory. Okay. So what this SAP note content? Okay. In these notes, so some correction is there in the SAP notes. This correction ensure that automatic job scheduling of the technical job repository in S4HANA systems will be delayed even after the point in time when the technical upgrade is over. So basically, what this SAP, why we need to apply this SAP note. If you don't apply this SAP note and you perform the upgrade and the migration, okay, then during the upgrade migrations, the jobs are there, technical jobs are there. So those technical jobs will become active immediately after upgrade or migration. After the upgrade and migration, the functional team comes and they do the testing. With these jobs, if something goes wrong, if some reports got executed, then there will be a problems. So to avoid any jobs run during or after the migrations, we need to apply this SCP nodes. These SCP nodes ensure that the no jobs will be triggered after the conversion or upgrade of the S/4HANA systems. So you have to, if you have done all the conversion testings, everything, and you have received a go ahead for the go live, then you can schedule the BTC trans to schedule all the jobs. Okay, till then all the jobs will be in stop resume state. Okay, so after the upgrade or migration, you have to release the jobs by running the BTC trans 2. Okay. Any questions here till now?
Sir, I have one question. So normally in refresh activity, we export, import like a variant table. So, so for migration like ECC to S/4HANA conversion, do we have such concept like export, import this variant table?
No,
Or
such
it-
yeah, that is not there, but something else is there that we call custom code migration.
okay.
Okay, so that is part of the ABAP, so we don't do anything.
So like if this variance gets moved, then I don't think that the like standard jobs should have this should not have this like general behavior. Like it should be like whatever variant is set, it is behave like that only. But here you are mentioning that their standard background jobs like variance should be like default one. So
Yeah.
that, but like if the variance gets migrated, then I think this should reflect in the system, but not sure why it is like that. So it is the behavior.
It is the
Is it the behavior? Like why
yeah,
the
yeah. So
var-
this is So in S/4HANA, a lot of changes has happened. So those changes, whatever we have in the ECC, that is the traditional base. Okay. Okay. So if you see that in your ECC systems as well, if these jobs, if you see that, if you see in your systems, this might be customized in your organization, in your customer. Okay, so they go with their, if this, you know, if they want to keep their background jobs, even this 14 days is there. If you install any SAP systems, okay, the 14 days is there. By default, you will get a 14 days. Okay, but there is a requirement that I need all the background jobs should be there at least 30. You change the variants. But when you migrate to S/4HANA or you perform the conversion to S/4HANA, then the default will be set again. Then you
okay.
have to, yeah, then you have to go and then you have to reset, whatever you want. It is a default behavior.
Okay.
Same like SPDD SPOW. If you modify anything for the repository object, SCP or dictionary object, then those will be, SCP will ask, some upgrade will ask what you want to do. Whether you want to go with the SCP standard after the migration or upgrade, or you want to adapt your changes. So they decide and they go. The same thing, same is applicable. So, but yeah, the by default the variants will come with the default ones, and then later you can modify. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any other questions? Okay.
So nothing from my end.
Okay. Fine. Shashadri.
No from my side.
Okay. Jahita is not joined, right? Till now. Okay. Fine. So what is new in S4HANA 2020 now? Okay, so if you see in the ABAP platform 2020, okay, so here the component is here. If you see that here, you are the ABAP S4HANA. If you compare with your, others, okay, so here this is the version, and here is the native version. We already discussed this one, and here from here we have the ABAP foundations, okay, and then here we have the S4HANA foundations. So ABAP foundation 1809 on HANA, then 1909 we have the SAP S4HANA foundation, okay, and Fiori side if you see that here we have 2.0, that is outdated. 3.0 is also outdated. 4.0 is also outdated. 5.0 is there in the market. 6.0 is there in the market. Okay, but if you see in the S4HANA systems, the Fiori version is different. The Fiori add-on is different. So it is S4HANA FES 2020. Okay, so till 1909, we can see that FES 6.0, 5.0, 4.0, 3.0, 2.0. But in 2020, they have changed everything. The naming convention, they have changed it. So same for here, SAP Fiori for S4HANA. So this is the FES add-on. And then this is the SAP Fiori add-ons for S4HANA. So here we have the commons. Okay, SAP Fiori for S4HANA, S4HANA versions. Okay, so there only the version is changed. This is the major changes if you see compared with the previous S4HANA systems. If you compare with the 1909. Okay. So here is some theories there. You can go to that theory part. So the same which I have explained. So same thing is there. So ABAP platform 2020 is the technology foundations for SAP S4HANA 2020. So whatever it is written here, it's all is mentioned here in the maintenance planner. Okay. So if you see the kernels, so you will get the kernel 7.81. Okay. So in the 2020, the runtimes, the parameters, the WP runtime parameters is absolute, and we have some other parameters on 7.51 the kernel release. Also, yeah, so this two also is removed. So this is one WP runtime, WP times. Okay, so this is basically we use to increase the work process runtime in dialogues. This is removed. This is also removed. These are removed, and this is replaced with this one. Okay, so this is the replacement of parameters. in S4HANA systems. Okay. So this all parameters it depends upon your kernel. So whatever the parameter is, replace, absolute or deleted, it's basically it's not depends upon your S4HANA version. So it is always depends upon your kernel version. So kernel always bring the new parameters. Okay. When kernel is changed, then might be some of the parameter will replace or remove or absolute. So what is new for the basis admin? Okay, so in the 7.81 kernels, so the fully qualified domain name, that is this one, not a fully qualified domain, ICM full host name, it is not there in 7.81. Okay, so if you see after the upgrade or the migrations, then you remove these parameters from your instance profiles. Okay, SAP FQDN no changes, SAP localhost no changes, but these two parameters you have to define in the instance profile, not in the default. So might be you will see that these two are set in the default profiles in the ECC, but you can set this in the instance profile. You can see the changes with the reports. If you run the reports RSPARM in the S4HANA, upgraded or converted systems, you will see that. Okay, only this you can see only the valid one. Okay. Okay, what's else? Sorry, this is also you have to delete HTTP local host full name. Okay, so delete from the instance profiles to use the default values. So you don't need to specify if you specify anything. Sometime what we do the HTTP local host name, we specify some values host name something kind of. Okay, then host name dot you know then reliance.com something kind of. Okay, server xyz then reliance.com, this is the server name, then it's we specify, but HTTP recommend that you delete it and take it as a default. So this is the default parameters which is set automatically in 7.51. So you have to delete whatever you have done the manual, you have to delete those things. So the changes in the ICM and the SAP web dispatcher is also just we have discussed. Okay, so in terms of the yeah, those is there now. Some of the connections, maximum connections. Okay, so the ICM, the max underscore con, the parameter is there. So there is some limitation. So there is some limitation on the number of connections. Okay, so these parameters you will see in the in the SAP web dispatchers. So we have to adjust this. Okay, if you have done any migrations or conversion. Okay, so let me go to that this one. So SAP web dispatcher now supports 1 million concurrent connections. You have to take care of you have to take care or educate the sizing of SAP web dispatcher machine. So you have to do the resizing if you want to increase the connections. Then you have to do the delta sizing of your SAP web dispatcher. if you want to use the high number of connections. Okay, so your web dispatcher, the sizing is basically depends upon the number of concurrent connections. Okay, this feature is only offered on the Linux operating systems. Okay, so on Linux operating system, you can have the 1 million concurrent client connections, but on the Windows, the limit is 32,000, and on AX, it is 16,000. That much of the connection it is supported. Okay, so there's no changes for Windows, I guess, and then AX, but on the Linux, we have the 1 million concurrent client connections. Okay, so yeah, so nothing much in that one. Okay, so yes, one more thing is that related to the maintenance mode, I guess. So not sure how it is, how we configure that for as a maintenance. Okay, so availability and then availability and unavailability you can set as well in the ACP web dispatchers. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so that is there also in the older one. Okay, so yeah, so in the ACP web dispatcher, you can set the maintenance mode. So so there is a some tab is there if you log into the web dispatcher using the web ADM user ID in the password. Okay, so there is a maintenance. Uh, one tab is there. In that tab you will see the normal and then maintenance mode. If you see set the maintenance mode, and if is going if user is trying to access your Fury systems through the ACP web dispatches, then they will get the service is not available or the system is under the maintenance. Once you set the normal, then user will allow in the Fury systems. Yeah, so this kind of thing is there in the SAP web dispatches, but this is there in the yeah. So 7.50 web dispatches, I have seen that feature as well. Yeah. So yeah, so this is I know why it is added in the file. So that is features. That feature you can use to put your Fury system. If you're doing any maintenance for your Fury systems, then you can set your web dispatchers in the maintenance mode. Any questions till now here?
No, sir.
So client tools. Okay. So the new client copy tool is introduced in the S/4HANA systems. So if you see in the diagrams, so when you do the client copy in the old systems, you log into the target clients and then you do the client copy. You log into the target client using the HP stars, you enable the HP stars and then log in and then you do that the client copy. But in the new tool, you don't need to log into the target clients. You can log in any source clients, okay, any third clients, whatever it is, okay, and then you select source client and the target clients in SSCL and T codes, okay. Then you don't need to have the SAP star user ID in the password. You can log into the third clients and then you can perform the client copy. So some internal housekeeping activity related to the SAP kernel 7.51 is also there. Okay, so if you need to go through more on this one, then you can go with this two SAP notes: a deletion of the tables th, stm, and then removal of the packages ssl, http. Okay, so basically the tables ts, h, tm we have to remove in SAP ABAP 755. So when you upgrade, SAP says that you look and then you remove it. That's the optional one. Okay, so basically, if you don't want to remove manually, then you apply the SAP underscore basis 755. You suppose the components. Sorry, I'm going some other way. So basically, this table TS HTML TS HTM, which is not required in S4HANA systems. If you have SAP basis version is 755. Okay, so in the 01 patch level 01, this table is not there. So automatically the housekeeping will be done if you go with this patch level 01 in SAP basis 755. So here if you see that this table is no longer okay. So what this table does, don't know. So here if you go, you will see. So this may contain some some logs and all that which we don't require. Also the packages SSI underscore HTTP and then ICM services SAP public VC load underscore info are removed with ABAP platform 2020. So in SP01, so this is for all S4HANA 2020 I'm talking. So this too you will not see the tables and then the package. This is the ABAP package and then the load underscore info ICF services. So this all is removed in S4HANA systems. Okay, so if you have the 00, for example, if you have the 00 patch 1, okay, for the SAP basis 00, then you will see these two things present. But if you apply the patch level 01, then automatically these two part will get removed. Okay. So we'll stop here and then we'll see the Fury topic tomorrow. And then after that, maybe we will able to finish the S4HANA and then we will go with the conversion. Okay. हाँ बोलो.
हाँ सर, एक चीज था लाइक आप जो हाना एडमिन का कोर्स में आप कुछ एक दिन डिस्कस किया था ना इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस बोल के. यू हैव प्रोवाइडेड लाइक सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस लाइक यू हैव verbally told us around 30 to
correct.
45 questions.
You have to write down those questions.
Yeah, I have already wrote it down. But my question is, for this course, will you provide some kind of like heads up, like some questions, like what is going to ask the interview?
There yeah, so not sure what they will ask. So a lot of things are there in the
like whatever comes in your mind, if you just
yeah, that is I'll give. So whatever comes in my mind, I will prepare and I'll share with you.
will like doc file or like you'll mention
I'll
here,
share
like
the doc file. Yeah, so maybe I'll prepare it. So I have not prepared such question. Okay, but yeah, so let me prepare, but it will take a time. Yeah, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
okay.
Okay, so whenever I get time, so I will get it prepared. Okay.
Because for ECC we have like plenty of blogs like SAP interview questions, but for S4 there is not enough blogs which covers this S/4HANA application area.
Yeah, no issue. I'll cover it. I'll provide you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Any other questions? Okay, then we'll stop and then tomorrow we'll meet. Yeah.
It's a 5 o'clock.
Yeah. 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.